Hello YouTube, this is Ready Set Exploit, and we're going to be doing services from TryHackMe, which is a Windows box I created that just covers a couple of different steps. For example, we start by looking at a website that has some full names of some team members of this fictional company. The full names along with an email on the site allows us to generate some usernames. We use a tool like Kerbrute to validate that these users exist on the server, and then we do an attack called AS rep roasting, which targets the pre-authentication, that is the pre-authentication disable feature of Kerberos, which allows the key distribution center to pass a hash just based on the user principal name and nothing else. We crack this hash because it has a weak password, and then we gain access to the server, and then we see that our user is part of their service operator group, which allows us to start and stop services. And we can set the binary path of this service, which allows us to escalate as system. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. So first thing is, let me have my directory set. Open this up. Just gonna close this. I'm gonna call this Nmap. So I'm gonna do a quick Nmap scan. Sudo nmap -b min rate 10,000. And the IP address is going to be 188.71, and that is not right. 188.71. There we go. See if I got that right. There we go. And there are a lot of ports here right off the bat. So we have 80 and 389. So we're looking at a web server, RDP, SMB, DNS, RPC ports. This is Kerberos, this is like LDAP-S. Let's see, we have WinRM, so we have LDAP. So we're looking at an Active Directory machine off the bat. And the MM is gonna take a bit of time. Oh, there we go, so Kerberos. So off the bat, we can see, even without much information, we see that we're dealing with a Windows machine as opposed to like a standard Linux. So I'm gonna save these to temp. So I'm going to do cat temp first, just so you can see. I'm going to replace these dashes here. I replaced them with empty space. So then I'm going to just awk the first vertical line. And then I'm going to separate them from a line break to a comma. And we could do everything. We could do ports equal that. So now we do sudo nmap -sb to run enumeration, and then run default scripts. And then -on enumeration to run version information, and then -on to save to file called nmap.txt. Then the IP address 118.71-p, and then we can do our variable ports. And I don't think I did that right, probably. Let's see. Echo ports. Let's see. 10.10.118. Probably didn't set a variable right or something. 1871. No, my machine died. Let's see. Oh, that's what's wrong. Look at that. 188. There we go. There we go. So that's gonna take some time because this usually speeds up a scan, but we're still targeting a lot of ports. So we noticed we had SMB open, so we can do that. SMB, do SMB enum, so SMB client -L. See if anonymous authentication is enabled. And okay, just put an enter. So anonymous login is successful, but we don't get anything. We could do SMB map -u anonymous -h IP address, and it fails. See, it's still scanning. So we don't have that. We could do crack map exact, could do SMB 10.188.71. We can do see -u nothing -p nothing. See what it gives us. Okay, and I like using a so we have plus. So if we do shares, so I like using this because it gives us a domain name, which is very useful, and Nmap will give us this too. Access denied. Okay, so we do have a computer name and a domain name. So this is going to be very useful to us. Also, if we want to confirm like that it's a Windows machine, but this will come in handy for any kind of Kerberos attack that we may like, and it didn't take that long. So this is why I like using that approach of scanning the ports. So we have port 53 DNS, port 80 IIS, so Windows. We're looking at probably Windows 2019, right? IIS server, Kerberos, so everything we kind of already knew. RPC ports, LDAP, Active Directory, there it is. I don't know why Nmap does the extra 0. But if you're not convinced, you just go down to the RDP port, and that tells you the name as well. So we have RDP. What else? We have LDAP-S. We have WinRM. So if we find any credentials or hashes, we can log in. Or even RDP, we have a password, and that's enabled for our user. So a lot of information that there is when we're dealing with a Windows machine, but can't do much at the moment. So let's go ahead, exit that. Let's check out the website. So we call above services. So it's like a pretty, not much going on. Lorem ipsum has a language. So looks like it does have some, so really nothing here. If you're looking through the website, first thing you would notice is small, but there is a email at the bottom, jdo@services.local. And if you remember, that matches the domain name that we had found earlier. So let's see. So we could have a potential username here. Let's go to About Us. We're also team, and we have team members, Joanne Doe. So JDoe, most likely that's the email. We have Jack Rock, Will Masters, Johnny LaRusso. So thing about this is a potential vulnerability because it exposes the first and last names of possible usernames. See, we have JDoe. So this is, we can make a good assumption that this name is probably j.rock, w.masters, j.larusso. So let's see. Save that page. We go to courses. If we find anything else, no. Portfolio, no. Pricing, no. Let's see. Contact, same email, j. Okay, so we really have these names. Whenever I find full names, because this can give us an indication what the names look like, but if we just have full names, a tool I use, kind of old but still good, Username Anarchy, GitHub, and it's a Ruby script, and I'm sure there are others, but this is the one. It was 6-7 years ago, and this just generates usernames based on a list. So we're gonna do username. So I'm gonna do git clone Username Anarchy, and it's pretty easy to use. Just Username Anarchy. So what it does is to take first and last name, or we could do an input file. Right. So let's see. We have Joando. So do clear that so I can see it in the background. We go usernames. So we do Joanne, Doe, Jack Rock, Will Masters. Let's see, Johnny LaRusso for any Karate Kid or Cobra Kai fans. Just combine the name there. Do that. Now we should be able to use Username Anarchy. What was it? Let's see, input file, and then names. Let's see what that does. File, users. And there we go. Generates a bunch of different names. We could do, let's see, save that to users. Test users. There we go. So let's get out of here. Now we're gonna use a tool called Kerbrute. It's another great tool to brute force any Kerberos usernames, see if they exist. So go to here, go to the releases. Let's download it for Windows. And there we go. Let's see. See? There we go. Is it already? No. So now we can do Kerbrute user enumeration. The domain controller is 10.10.1AA.171. Domain name services.local, we knew that. And we have our test users. And it does find them. See right there. So we have, so it tells us that the names we already knew, kind of knew this one, but it verifies the format. But if we didn't know this, it would help you verify these other usernames. So what I can do is now I'm gonna remove temp and make a new one. Let's see, kind of lazy. So temp.awk. So I'm gonna do print. I want that third one. Probably gonna be like the fifth one. Line. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Line. Can't count. There we go. So now we do users. Beautiful temp. So now if we do users, we have our valid names. So actually, I just want, so let's move users. I don't want the email right now. So maybe we'll call this full users. And we're going to do cat full users. And then I'm going to do set add, let's see, I'm going to replace services.local with nothing. There we go. Call that users. Perfect. So now what? We have usernames, no password. And whenever that is the case, there isn't an attack I like to use, but how would you have been able to find this attack, right? You could just search for a Kerberos exploit. There is a lot of information out there. Right off the bat, for example, we have exploiting Kerberos for lateral movement process escalation. It's also hack tricks that touches into this. So I'll cover both. If you go down and read through this, Kerberos password brute force, we don't have password. Kerberos thing with Impacket, and there's this attack, AS rep roasting. So by default, the key distribution center requires all accounts to have pre-authentication enabled. So as the security control of the KDC, and what AS rep roasting does is it targets accounts that do not have this. So what does that mean? So what is Kerberos pre-authentication enabled? So it works at the very first step, authentication request. So without it, when a client sends an authentication request, it uses the client's user principal name it's included in the request with that's it, not much else. And then the key distribution server checks if it just exists in the database. So it just checks if the user is a user, essentially, right? And it actually tells us to use the Impacket toolset that get np users.py. And if we don't think pen testing Kerberos, I thought this would have more information. Let's see. So let's see. So it's how to do recon, OSINT, right? Try username names from internal documents, social media, services, set a domain publicly available. So there's different name conventions, see right here. So user enumeration, Kerbrute. So if follow Hacktricks it, there we go. If a user doesn't have the attribute, don't require pre-authentication, you can express AS messaging, and it goes into using Impacket. And if you don't know what Impacket is, you just search Impacket, GitHub. This is the Python class of scripts, and you can just clone the repo and run setup install. After installing the requirements, it's pretty easy, or you could just pip request. I usually just like installing it right from here. Haven't had any issues. Pretty easy, right? So anyway, and this is one of them. That's one of the scripts. So you can see by looking at examples, they're all here, right? So it tells you how to use it. Usernames, format hashcat in the output file. So we can try this. And let's see, I already have it installed, so I'm gonna do like clear. Clear, so we're gonna do get np users, domain controller, request to output the hashes, the domain name, the users file, and I want the format, hashcat. So we're gonna do 188.7.1, right? I think that's it. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, okay. And it starts, we find one, this hash right here. Okay, so we have a hash. Everybody else does have it enabled. We have one for Jack Rock. And we're gonna go ahead and do hashcat mode 18,200. If you're not sure, you just do hashcat examples, whole database on it. We can do this. Yeah, that should do it. And it tells you Kerberos, A is rep, 18,200. So do that, hash, rock you, and it should take just a few seconds. Let's see, less than 11 seconds total, depending on your machine. And it is cracked. It tells you right here, cracked. Services works 1. Right. Of course, you could have just taken the name of the machine and done something like, you know, rock you, but that would have taken, I think, considerably longer. Some people do that, you know, like password hunting, like based on like what they find, but I just don't always think that's a good idea. Whoops. grep-i services, right? And look, there's just so much. It's not the worst, but there is a lot, right? Yeah, see, where is that? Service works. Oh, it's not even on here. Where is it? Oh, it's because it is service. So, oh, there's even a lot more. Yeah, that's a lot. So having to, you know, it could take some time. You have 4 usernames. You could find it. But it's just, I have seen people do that. I don't think it's the more better use of your time. You could eventually find it, maybe, you know, that's like a last resort. Or just run and rock you would also get you there. But we have the username. Let's go ahead and creds. We have it's jrock for service works. So creds. And now we could do crackmap exec. Let's do it. -u c. Can we illuminate shares now? j.rock. Password. This works. And okay, we have it. Works. Taking some time. Might not work. But what we can do is, aha, there we go. So read, write, default share. It's interesting. Okay. So we know those credits work. I mean, those credentials work. Does it work for RDP? Probably not. I know it doesn't. Okay. So that's not an option. WinRM. Let's see. That's last resort. And winner up. Boom. There we go. It works. So we have access to the machine. So we have Evo WinRM. You could use that. 71. And you know what? Let's clear that. Copy that. It's always like a good clear screen if I don't need the info anymore. I'm called it Evo WinRM. It'll take a second. And there we go. You have access to the machine. You know, if you're not used to Windows machines, the methodology is almost similar to Linux, right? Who are we? Let's find out. Who am I / all? Who, you know, it's similar to run ID or try to find, you know, your groups. What are you a part of? And you have our SID, our groups, and you go through the groups, especially things that are odd, you know, or just take your time. So we have a lot. We can change the system time. We can shut down the system. So our privileges, what can we do? So that's something I find very helpful in Windows systems. A lot of times it's what you're part of. So some things are pretty standard. You won't be able to do much with them, like authenticated users, right? But then maybe your users have access to certain things. So if you go down the list, we have server operators, and you could just go down, but it's luckily the first one. And if you Google that, we have this first one right here. And essentially talks about groups and how to. So the server operator is a special user group that often access to powerful commands, segments on a computer system. The group is typically used for managing a server or troubleshooting system problems, how to set it up. And then, okay, WinRM, net user, server operators. That's another way of finding out. You could try that. So net user j.rock. And there we go, server operators. So we could list services. And then it uses, let's see. So it configures the binary path to a command. Okay, config. And then it just starts it. So let's see, services, true. Okay, privileges, true. Okay, so let's try that. And then, okay, create a payload. All right, there we go. Binary path, stop, start. So let's try that. Why not, right? Services. Let's see what we get. It's going to take some time. In the meantime, let me get a reverse shell going. So a tool I like to use, you could use Netcat. Netcat should be fine. Another one I like to use is, let's see, C reverse shell by DebFrog. This is a good one. It's pretty easy. Install what you need, edit, and it's pretty smooth. So, well, there we go. So there's a couple things, especially on machines that run like cybersecurity trainings. You'll find Amazon stuff, probably because it's being hosted by AWS. If you find something with Azure, same thing. I don't like to target those in case it breaks something on the machine because it's being hosted on it. So we can start from here down, right, and see what we find. So let's take a look. So I'm gonna do rev shell. So we're gonna do git clone. So I already have it there. C shell. So we can change this to RIP. See 10.13.4.71. I'm gonna do 443. Let's do and then this command, it's already listed on here if you need to compile it. So no need to try to remember how I got this command. So we're just gonna save it. Hope I did it right. 10.13.4.71. Okay. And now we're gonna go to our downloads folder. We'll also know if you could run something like WinPiece, but this was pretty straightforward, I think. Upload, and this one usually bypasses AppLocker, but it won't bypass Defender. That's also why I like using it, because if it's almost like twofold. If it doesn't execute, or tells me, oh, it's been blocked, then I know Defender's running, then I can try other approaches. But if it works, then that means Defender's running. AppLocker would bypass something like, usually catches like MSF Venom shells, which is why I don't like using that one as much. But this was nice. So we can do, so let's try this. So CFN, let's actually get our reverse shell going. And what was it? So it wanted SC config service name bin path. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and just copy that. So let's see. Config. So actually, yeah, let's see. Bin path. We don't have VM tools, but we can use this one. And then when you downloads, copy where it is, and we can do RE. Let's see. Yeah, that'll do it. See if it allows us. Success. So what happens if we do this one? Denied. So some of these will work, some of them won't. Privilege is true. So it's, and that's just something. Let's see if I can query it. Privilege is just true. So it's stopped. So we can start it. That's what server's operator allows us to do. So Win32 on process. So let's see. So let's do, I don't know, sense. Denied. So we can even query some of these, but some we can't. So that's why some of these won't be able to work. I believe there's more of a granular permission that allows us to do this. So if we do services again, right now path is this, right? And typically, let's see, there it is. Let's change. So let's go ahead and now we can do SCEXE start. Let's start it because we knew it was stopped. And it's going to take a second. Oh, we got a connection from, yeah, all right. System 32 is a good sign. Who am I? We are anti-authority system. So we could do users. So as system, we pretty much own the whole system. But there's stuff we can do, especially when you're dealing with Linux, any system. We can now, similar to root, let's say we can do net user, let's see, RSE password 321 add. Yeah, all right, net local group, group administrators, RC add. And if you're not familiar with this, you can learn this from the Active Directory networks in TryHackMe. They cover this very, very well. Local group, how to achieve persistence, different things you could do, users. And this is so I can add myself to use RDP, so management users. So now, see this, if you use something like Netcat, actually your connection will drop. It's just the way Netcat is, but that's why I also use other kinds like the other shell, because it's more stable. So net user RSE. And look at that, there we go. We have access as an administrator. We could do something like RDP, X-free RDP. Let's see, we knew that didn't work. So we could do password 321. Could do RC. Yes. Let's see. And if you have a large organization, I would think adding like a little backdoor user might be a little bit better than that. That changes the administrator password, and it's probably more noticeable. Not that you won't be noticed, but it just might make for more exfiltration a little bit easier. So look, setting up a user profile. What else can we do? So we can dump hashes for more of a like a password based attack. So we could do, so it's loading, take some time I think. So we could do, let's see, let's go to the main. We do reg save. We could also change the administrator password here, but you kind of get the idea. You would just run net user administrator password, and that's it. That changes the password of the administrator. So HKLM system. I'm gonna move it over to system. Perfect. And now we're gonna do Sam. And now, if we do go to the center, there they go. So we could do download, and that's another neat thing of WinRM. It allows us to just download without having to set up a SMB share. And look, we have access to the administrator. To the RDP as an administrator user. We could do lots of different things, that allows us, we can manipulate, we have more of a backdoor access with full privileges. We could also add other users. So, persistence method that I always like to use, especially dealing with things like networks, so you don't lose access. So then we do system. This one takes a little bit, but we can confirm. We could do secrets. Okay, downloaded, kind of weird. There we go. And for this one, while it downloads, I'm going to use a tool called Secretsdump, also from Impacket. Need system, SAM, local. And this will dump the registry hashes. There it is. And which can then be used to crack. So if not a good password policy, password rotation policy, and the password search is not strong, sends the password policy, we could crack those hashes, right? Especially the administrator hash and any other user. It's just a more faster method. So it's taking a little bit, but that's okay. So if you're still not convinced, we can do there cd users administrator desktop. Oh, and there's it is. If you notice, I use LWrap. This is a handy tool because there are ways to get more TTY, but I like LWrap for quick shells because I can go back up. As you see, it's a little bit more interactive than just a regular netcat shell. All right, so this is taking a little bit of time. Let's see if I can do it in a faster way. Packet. Let's see. And so if you haven't used Impacket before, there's another little handy little tool called SMB Packet Server, where we just host SMB share. We could do it right from here. So we could do net use our IP address share, right, through -u RSE that's the username and password. Network pack was not found. That did not work. Interesting. Oh, it's finding those little things, right? There we go. So now if we do net use, there it is. So now we copy system, still going, 37. Let's see how this does it. Copy system to, copy this, system. Oh, and if we look back, we have a connection hash, or very weak password. Let's see which one wins the rat race. It's because I want to show this method. So while we wait, lessons learned is this whole thing would have been stopped at the beginning. Another thing I wanted to cover was, all right, so let's why do we have pre-authentication enabled? So it's pre-authentication enabled because it is a feature of Kerberos, and it so it is used. So I wouldn't so much blame the feature, right? So this little article, TechNet, why it should not be disabled. So there are services that use it. It doesn't really mention which ones, but it talks about that this authentication can still be circumvented by other types of attacks, but sometimes there's a lot of use. See, it's disabled for some, so it's disabled for some users in order to support some applications that do not support the security feature offered by Kerberos pre-authentication. So, if you're dealing with a large organization, different endpoints and such, it's possible that, yeah, it has to be disabled. But if you had a strong password, look at that. Okay, that's taking way too long. All right, cancel that. Can I cancel that? Yeah. And, oh, so let's keep that open. So where we go? There it is. See? So the SMB server is generally faster. So very, very useful thing I use there. So now we can do Secretsdump. And there it is. Administrator, we have the hash. We could do a pass the hash. See, WinRM. So we could do 10.188.71.u administrator hash. See if that works. And that's it. We don't have anything else, but now we have the hash administrator. We can do a pass the hash. We could try cracking it. Pick the so lots to learn there. Windows machines are very fun, as you can see, different ways of doing the same thing. So again, the lesson learned is even with the pre-authentication disabled, it just came down to the weak passwords. If the password was strong, even with that captured hash, that wasn't a typical NTLM hash. So that hash So we could do a patch that hash was NTLM hash, but the hash we had before, this is a Kerberos ASRep hash. We can't do a pass the hash with this. So it would have stopped us right then and there. But anyway, that was the machine. Hope you enjoyed it. It was very fun to make, and I think it was a fun machine to just play just now. So feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.